Hello, my name is Elizabeth Thornton, Chief Diversity Officer and member of the Entrepreneurship faculty at Babson College. I'd like to start off by asking you a few questions. Have you ever overreacted to a situation? Have you ever taken something personally that really wasn't personal? Have you ever misjudged someone, treated them unfairly? We all do this, but sometimes it can cost us a lot. It can cost us our jobs, our business, or even worse, our personal relationships. Here's an extreme example. I call it the boss and the nod. So Jim has been in his job 6 months. He's conscientious, he's hardworking, he gets to the office really early in the morning, and every morning around 7:45, Scott, Jim's boss, walks by Jim's desk and says, "Good morning, Jim," boisterous hello. Jim loves it, just thinks it's great. So one day, Scott comes into the office, walks by Jim's desk, and just nods. Oh my goodness, what's he thinking? What's he gonna do? So Jim's mind goes crazy. He goes on this roller coaster ride in his head. Have you been on a roller coaster ride in your head? I bet you have. He starts to think, oh my God, I heard there were layoffs. I heard that they were going to be laying people off. And you know what? I am the person with the least amount of tenure. I've only been here 6 months. So, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to be able to take care of my family. Oh my God, I can't afford this right now. So Jim, kind of dangling off the cliff of subjectivity, runs into Scott's office and says, "Are there going to be layoffs? Am I on the list?" Scott looks at him like he's crazy. "No, what are you talking about?" Their relationship changed forever as a result of that. Can you think of a personal situation, or can you think of someone else who may have had to respond in a similar way? I certainly have done something like that, and I can think of a lot of people that I know that have done similar kinds of things. And the reason is it's because it's the nature of the mind. This is what we tend to do. We experience through our senses a fact, a circumstance, a situation, a person, something. And in an instant, just like that, we project our fears, our mental models, and background onto that fact. We are all totally subjective about the way we respond to what's going on, to what is. The result often is that we see something other than what is, a misperception. One object or situation is mistaken for another. The value of an object or circumstance is exaggerated. We blow it completely out of proportion. You know what I'm talking about. And we could judge someone unfairly. We call this cognitive errors or appraisal errors. The question becomes, how can we change this? Can we improve this at all? How can I be an effective leader, a successful entrepreneur, a thoughtful friend? How can I see things clearly, make sound judgments, and execute effectively? The answer is it's by increasing your objectivity, by being more objective about how we relate to ourselves, situations, and other people in our lives. I've developed a course at Babson College called The Principle of Objectivity, and it's designed to help our students do exactly that. Increase objectivity. Look at the mental models that are coloring their response to what is and helping them respond more appropriately to what's going on around them, their relationships, situations at work, situations with starting a venture. That's what the course is designed to do, and we're having a lot of effectiveness around it. So let's get into this just a tad. So what's the definition of objectivity? I like to keep it simple. The dictionary has 3 meanings. One is the state or quality of being objective. Not so good. Second, external reality. And the third, the one I like the most, is that it's a judgment based on observable phenomena, uninfluenced by emotions or personal prejudices. Objectivity is recognizing what is without subjectivity. It's not projecting our own interpretation of fact onto what is, based on our mental models, our background, and all the various ways in which we color our response to the world. So let's focus on mental models. Mental models are those fundamental, deep-rooted ideas and beliefs about the way the world works, how things ought to be. The mind forms patterns that tell us what reality is and the way the world should work and how we should respond to the world. We have a mental model for everything, and I bet you most of your mental models serve you really, really well, but you might find that some of the mental models don't serve you so well. Most of these mental models we adopted when we were 4 or 5 years old. We were taught them as children. I call it as seen on TV. Because so many of the ways that we think about success and what we should be in our relationships is what we see on TV. These mental models become the basis of our perception analysis and understanding of what's going on around us. We actually think and act through our mental models. The interesting thing is, in the way the mind works, is that our thoughts and our tendencies tend to support our mental models. What we fundamentally believe about ourselves, our circumstances, people in our lives, what's inherently important to us, forms the basis for how we perceive and respond to the world. It's actually quite amazing. I had a situation not too long ago. My car was on its last leg. It had 168,000 miles on it. I called my big brother Hugh, and I said, Hugh, what kind of car should I get? Because I don't know about cars. So he says, oh, get a Lincoln LS. I'm like, okay. So I go online, I get the brochure, and it's, oh, it's a nice car. I like it, it's good. Then I go outside, and everywhere I go, I see a Lincoln LS. Now, have you had an experience like that? So many of my students could validate that in their own experience. This is what happens. What we fundamentally believe, what's important to us, our mind will bring that to us. So isn't it important to watch what our mental models are telling us about how to respond to the world? The really cool thing about this is that the latest leadership theory is really talking about mental models. They're saying that the difference between an effective leader and an ineffective leader is not that the effective leader has more knowledge and experience than ineffective leaders. Rather, it's because they have a more valid and effective way of handling the complex issues they face. The difference between effective and ineffective leaders is their mental models or meaning structures, the way they view and deal with their world. So the course at Babson, the Principle of Objectivity, is designed to help business leaders, entrepreneurs, and students transform their mental models or meaning structures to help increase objectivity and thereby overall effectiveness and happiness. This course effectively blends psychology, philosophy, and entrepreneurship to provide a framework for increasing objectivity. The course focuses on 4 key points or core key components. One is understanding subjectivity and objectivity. We really need to understand those concepts. And then once we've got that nailed, then we focus on the nature of the mind, really understanding how the mind works. You'd be surprised at what the mind automatically does to support how we respond to everything every day. Understanding drivers of subjectivity, including mental models. We really need to focus on all those drivers that color our response to what's going on around us so that we can see things more clearly. And then at the end of the course, we really focus on understanding basic knowledge or principles to help students actually transform the mental models that will allow them to be more objective, allow them to be more effective in their lives. In closing, I'd like to offer you the following tip. So the next time you encounter a difficult situation and you feel that emotion bubbling up, stop before you react and do the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. I know that sounds funny, but trust me, do the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. So when you get that email and it has tone and you want to respond with tone, you might want to just stop before you send that email. Don't hit send so that you don't create a difficult circumstance for yourself. If you want to learn more about the Principle of Objectivity course, please contact me at ethornton@babson.edu or through my website, principlesofobjectivity.com.